The next thing under the menu is the toolbar. If you highlight an item on the toolbar, you'll get a tooltip. This is adding a record, which is the same as hitting the insert key. This is deleting something. This is save. Clear. If you have a form, it clears the form. This is changing the sort sequence. For example, here we have a list of customers. We can say we want to change the sort sequence from company to account number. Now, the shortcut to do this on a list is you can also click on one of the headers of the list. This is a search button, allows you to search in a list. This is a full text search. Let's say we're looking for Dallas. I only have one company in Dallas. Let's look for a different one. Let's look for somebody that has the word direct somewhere in their customer record. So we've only got one Adirondack Direct. Let's see if we can find somebody who's a little, oh, computer, we should have some. Okay, these are all the customer records that have the word computer somewhere in their customer records, and then you can select one, and that takes you to it. The microscope is zoom. We're a list-based product. When you're on an item, you can drill down into it with either the zoom tool button or right-clicking on it and selecting zoom. Both of these will get you to a detail panel. This is expand. It looks a little bit like a Salvador Dali painting. Expand means show me additional information about something, or prompt. In the case of a company, when you hit expand, it's going to show you the contacts. If you're on an invoice, it's going to show the invoice lines. If you're on an order, it'll show you the order lines. If you're on a catalog record, it'll show you the warehouse locations. If you're on a warehouse record, it'll show you the bin location. So it's basically show me additional information. This one here is the query button, and that's a little complex, and we'll get to that on another training class, but it basically allows you to execute context-sensitive queries where you can execute a query based on where you are currently on the screen. This is the imaging button. Let's go back over to companies. Go to Bay Area. And you notice as I change companies here, the buttons highlight. When they highlight, that means there are images and there are comments associated with this record. And this holds true for orders, invoices. All of these lists behave the same way. We can look at images associated with this. This is telling me this is the first time I've used it with this user, so it's going to copy an icon to my desktop. And it just created this icon here. And this shows me all of the images that I have associated with this customer record. I could double click on an image and I can display it. I don't have any, I believe, set up in my development area, but we'll add one. So I'll hit insert. Now it would allow me to scan an image, or it allows me to import it. So let's do an import, and then we'll go look for some images. Okay, so here's an image I just imported. And I can say display it. So here it's displaying the image for me. To validate that it's the image I want, I can give it a title, and then I say save. So now this image is available with this customer record. Images can be attached to any types of documents in the system: customers, orders, invoices, contacts, projects, incidents, jobs, anything. I can look at comments. Now, if you notice, I clicked on that and it didn't show up. It actually showed up somewhere on another screen. So there, I hit Shift Home, and there it is. We can have an unlimited number of comments. Each comment can be, in this system, they're configured up to 64,000 characters. It's up to your system's operator how big the comments can be. When you add a comment, it gives you a couple of choices. You can either add a general comment, and those comments are numbered 1 through 999. So you can have up to 1,000 general comments attached to a customer record or other document type. Or you can set up specific named comments, comments that are reserved for specific things. For example, here's comment 2001, which is an order entry comment. So if you put this comment in here, whenever we go into order entry for this customer, this comment's going to pop up. And you have other comments, places where you store credit information, collections information, special shipping instructions, a comment for this customer that should show up on the packing list, a comment for this customer that should show up on the pick list and invoice, or just on the invoice. So you have ways of storing notes that you want to show different people in the company during operations. Then moving on, so our print button, in the case of a company, it prints us a company information sheet, which a salesman may take with them visiting a customer. We email. This just allows us to email the customer, and it prompts us for text. If you are on an invoice lookup or an order lookup, then emailing would allow you to mail a copy of that invoice or that order. The 3 dot is the More menu. You have, on any view, you have the toolbar options, you have the context menu right-click options, you have the buttons for things that you use frequently, and then you have the More menu. And the More menu is where we put additional things that we don't want to clutter up the context-sensitive menu or the buttons. So the More menu has additional functions on it. The gear is for configuration. Configuration is primarily used in these lists, and we'll get to that shortly. And the information button just gives you various help information that you can use.
Quick question, this is Mark. As far as the email, are you using the mail server for the user, or how are we sending and receiving emails through the system?
Okay, emails are sent out using whatever SMTP server the system is pointed to. In most cases, if you have an in-house Exchange server, it'll point to that. If you're using Outlook.com or Microsoft Office 365, then it points to Microsoft's Exchange server. It does not go through the local users Outlook or MAPI, because Microsoft keeps changing the spec on that, and we'd have to have a different version for every version of Outlook. And for people that don't use Outlook, they wouldn't have access. So it goes out using standard SMTP, and you can point to it wherever you want.